Star Wars Clone Wars. First, the movie. Okay, first of all, Star Wars Clone Wars did started by Warner Brothers in the early 2005 by Gene Kinsley, the same guy that did Samurai Jack, like from the early 2000s, and then did the Hotel Transylvania series. The time that Star Wars Clone Wars started, it'll be classic 2D, becomes CGI, and now is owned by Disney and Fox. The reason why I had to talk about this, it's been in my mind all day. Yesterday, I'm like, hey, why not talk about a movie I've seen countless times when I was younger? This movie came out in 2008 during my birthday when I was younger. So I went to see it and I was not disappointed. And yes, I'm aware that, and right there, that Doug Walker did review this a long time ago. People either like this movie or despise it for obvious reasons. This does take place a long time ago before Anakin became Darth Vader himself. And Obi-Wan Kenobi starts fighting against him. And yes, I will get to talk about the prequel movies soon as possible. But for now, I'm talking about the one that started it all. All the CGI ones that are fully CGI animated series. Or should I say it's pilot movie that started it all. The story plot has not much else to say about it. That Anakin Skywalker had to train a new character named Ahsoka, which in the near future becomes everybody's favorite main hero character and had her own series in Disney Plus. And bring back Star Wars Clone Wars. It's back from its grave nearly 10.5 years later. That he has to train so-called Padawan, or should I say young Yan, in training. And getting big huge war battle of all time. In that they meet not other than Jabba the Hutt, who is still part of the prequel of stories of these movies. He's in other ones. So on and so forth. That the main villain, Count Dooku, since the most bounty hunter of all time, Asajj, a female bounty hunter to get rid of Anakin Skywalker and all of the Jedis to be fallen, but she always seems to lose every time they encounter them. To cut the chase, that this movie is pretty long and it's only like probably an hour and 20 minutes of interesting scenes of the main heroes. The plot is pretty simple, that they had to rescue Jabba the Hutt's son, which Ahsoka names Stinky. He, for some reason, is an ordinary name, where the rest of them have Star Wars character names. It's that the evil Count Dooku wants to make sure they won't succeed. To bring back the grandson of Jabba the Hutt back to him. I've been tricking them to think they're holding his grandson hostage and send all the bounty hunters to stop them. To think they're going to destroy him and take over his empire. And to make the movie a little bit more interesting, that there's Zero the Hutt, which everybody thinks at first was a female character, but is actually an uncle to Jabba the Hutt, which is also part of the series. And Zero the Hutt is less threatening than most likely the other Hutts. That Hutt himself is basically a big, huge slug creature, voiced by Curly Burton himself, which is the same voice actor that plays Count Dooku in the animated show. And other voice actors that I will not spoil too much. Those of you who haven't watched the movie yet. And Zero the Hutt, it is like most likely people's favorite character. That says, I love that little Huttling. What does absolute crime of when all of his henchmen do all the dirty work for him, and they capture Princess May, which is Anakin's love interest. And to know about Zero the Hutt, that secret is working for Count Dooku. That just comes to show that Zero the Hutt is not truly a heartless monster as he is, that does care for the little Huttlet. But make sure all the bounty hunters themselves want them, and they really succeed their goal to stop Anakin Skywalker, deliver his son to him. But like I said, I will not spoil too much. Those of you who haven't seen this movie yet, but those of you did in 2008, do you like this movie or despise it? The film is only like nearly an hour and 20 minutes long. I mean, those of you who are like a huge Star Wars fan, you might actually find this a bit interesting. And to put this in your next collection of all Star Wars films of all time. And the story is just really simple. Animation looks alright, but it does get better throughout probably season 4 or 5. In its final season. It's end of the series. And can sure really leave it in that lane for the best. I would say it's not one of the worst movies out there. It's slightly on the alright side. People pretty much forget that this film existed, and they were more interested to the live action movies than we were waiting for a very long time for new Star Wars films. We waited nearly 10 years after Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So what we got instead is the animated film. Nearly people forgotten. It had some good action, a little bit of comedy, and a few cameos of C-3PO that did appear in the movie, which is not like nearly until like almost an hour into it. There's nothing wrong about this movie, it's just there to exist because they want to make lots of money of the series. So it kind of has its ups and downs. You might find this one a bit interesting or downright forgettable at times. I don't usually talk about all the Star Wars movies we had so far, especially the holiday one that everybody remembers was trash. But this one is on the alright side. The characters are pretty memorable, so I'll give them some credit that they make it a pretty good movie. I did watch this a lot as a kid, but now I'm older now, it's a bit on the side of it being alright, I guess. I mean, the story is just plain simple. Just save the son of a young hut, and that's basically it. It has some action and all that amazing stuff, all sorts of things just like that. But I think you'll be sticking with the 2D animated Star Wars better than the CGI animated one we got so far. Not that I would say Star Wars Clone Wars movie is not as bad as what people say. It's a bit forgettable at most parts. It does have some good action and interesting voice cast. You'll almost forget it was a thing back in the day, and you'll be more or focusing on the animated series than in the movie. Had a bit of merchandise and video games to go with it. All I can say is if you really like Star Wars, you might give this one a try. So if you really like this film, just go ahead and check it out and watch it probably once, twice, or 3 times, and never forget this thing existed. So, all I can say is, yeah, I have to say it one more time. Enjoy it while you can.